Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast, here with my friend and producer, Max Kerman.
Hey, how's it going?
Also here with our pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham.
Hello.
So, let's get right into it, guys. Today on the show, we have Serena Ryder.
Yeah, we old friend of the band, actually. And she was a delightful interview.
She was great. We'll get to that in a bit. But there's a lot going on. Is anything in particular going on with you guys? I mean, we hung out this weekend,
We
Max.
did.
I didn't see you this weekend, Shane.
There's a lot of stuff going on
No,
in sports. There's a lot of
Wild
stuff going on in
weekend.
politics. But we should just talk about Halloween because that's what this show, I think, is truly about.
Tomorrow is the real Halloween,
Yeah,
correct?
but everyone's celebrating it the weekend before, right? I'd say.
Adults.
Adults,
It's
yeah.
adult Halloween, yeah.
Yeah.
How old is too old to trick or treat?
I don't know. My one neighbor, Alex Kelleher, has been he as a grown man, he goes trick or treating, and people are always like looking because he just likes candy, and he's kind of a gregarious, funny guy.
I had a friend, Rob Ascula, who did that also.
Yeah, and so, but the parents are just like, "Where's the kid?" Like, assuming that he's like the father. He's like a 33-year-old man.
Yeah. The kid's just around the corner. He's shy. I went till I was 14.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
think that might be too old.
Yeah, no, even then I felt old. Like,
If you're an older brother, though, you could act as a chaperone.
true, I was not with my younger brother.
Okay,
I was
never
just
mind.
out there trying to get some candy. 14's too old? Is it?
Yeah, I think if you've had a sexual encounter with someone, it's too old.
That's a good barometer.
Yeah, yeah. Have you like,
That's the
French
line.
kissed a girl, or maybe more? Let's cut that.
Yeah. If you've gone to heavy petting, maybe you shouldn't be.
I could have gone until I was 19. Seriously.
That's why you put the standard there. Yeah. All right. So that's the rule set here on the pod. Lots has been going on though. We haven't really recorded we had Ann on last
Yeah.
week, but the three of us haven't really just shot the shit in a while.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
Well, I wanted to talk about this because it's something I did. I went to the Toronto Raptors season opener.
That's right.
I am now a season ticket holder with these three gentlemen that, I kind of knew a couple of them a little bit. One of them I didn't know at all, and I just jumped in because somebody dropped out. So I'm now a 1/4 season ticket holder. And the night of the draft alone was awesome because I don't know if you guys ever had season tickets or if you've done a fantasy draft. You got the 41 games you're going to pick between. Actually 40 because all four of us go to the season opener
that's
together.
cute.
It's the way you play
Nice.
it, right? So that was hilarious in and of itself. But anyway, long story long with these guys, we end up going to the season opener together. We get some drinks before. It's really fun. And I'm sitting there with my brand new best friends, and we're having beers. And a couple guys walk by, and they look somewhat familiar to me. And the one guy nods at me, and I'm going, how do I know this guy? I nod back. This kind of happens. Do you guys get this where it's like someone will, and then you're kind of like, shit, should I know the name? How do I know that person? You're trying to frame it. And he does look super familiar to me. And I'm like, our buddy Felix, I'm like, is that Felix's brother? I partied with Felix's brother a month ago, but I think he lives in Germany. Why would he be at a
does live in
Raptors game?
Germany.
So I'm trying to rack my brain. And I'm a couple of those big beers in. So then, timeout happens. Those guys leave again. They come in. Dude brings me a giant beer. He goes, hey, man, I just wanted to grab you a beer. The look on your guys' both face right now is very confused. I'm like,
Well, I'm jealous.
I'm like, who are these guys? So I go, I say, oh, thanks so much, man. And I just kind of double down on the Felix thing. I'm like, very Felix-esque of you to give me a free beer. And then I'm like, no, I got to come clean. Because then halftime comes and we all go out together. And the two guys come up and they're like, how you been? And I'm like, good, man. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to lie, dude. I'm like, are you related to Felix? He's like, absolutely not. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I know who you are, but I'm blanking. Where'd I know you from?
Amazing Race. Yep.
Gino Montani from The Amazing Race. We shot them on set. Jesse and Gino, these guys won The Amazing Race. They're Hamiltonians. And he's with another guy from kind of our extended circle, Brandon Roshko.
Yeah. That was going to be, I knew it.
Yeah. So Shane spent a whole weekend with these guys. I spent about I shot the commercial portion of this 2-minute doc that Shane did with them. So I spent maybe an hour, 2 hours maybe with them tops. But we talked a lot about Hamilton, mutual friends. And then Shane spent the rest of the weekend shooting them pretty much, right?
Yeah.
They were, it was just Gino. It was not Jesse. It was Gino and Brandon. And he was the nice, he went on about how much fun he had shooting with you and how they've shot all this stuff with other people.
So
and
you think he would have bought me a beer if I was there?
Definitely. And I would have had to drink
sweet.
it because you're off the booze.
See, you know what? I've been in this situation before, and I was at that sort of fork in the road. I was like, do you just keep on pretending you know who the person is, or do you just say,
I had to come
gotta
clean.
come clean? And one time I was in a similar situation. It was at an industry thing, and I was so close to going down the road of coming clean, and then I didn't. And then about 10 minutes later, I finally pieced it together who this person was. And it was a very important person that he considers me kind of a close friend.
Sure.
And we've emailed a lot. And it's just and I'm so glad that I didn't, that I never gave up the secret.
Yes.
And so from that incident and just thinking of having said to him, man, just remind me who you are again, just like makes me so embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so my rule now is I'm just going to wait it out. I'm just going to keep asking questions, keep calling him man.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Deny till you die.
What do you do though if you're with your girlfriend?
Oh, I go, hey, this is Lauren. And then,
that's what I do.
Yeah.
And then that opens it up for them to say the name. But then it's always awkward because if it's a loud place, I'm leaning into the answer a little too obviously. Like,
and then you go, Jesse. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Gino. But anyway, really like ended up hanging out at halftime, like with those two guys, just like shooting the shit. Yeah, it was a fun night.
That's sweet though, man.
Well, good times. What else has been going on?
Okay, so I got a frantic phone call from our friend Dan. And he's usually the most like relaxed, easygoing guy ever and just excited about life. But he calls me on Thursday. He's like, I'm getting really stressed out because we haven't got our Halloween costumes together because we're going to this private event on Saturday. And this is really stressing me out. We've been throwing around lots of ideas. None of them are good. We need to have something ready. So I said, all right, come over. We're going to do a brainstorm with your brother Greg and Dan. So the reason why I was so stressed is because if pod listeners remember, he met a girl at a Burgers Priest about a month ago. We're going to call her Ice Cream Sandwich. There was a whole story around it afterward. And so Ice Cream Sandwich and her gal pals have invited Dan and his dude pals to a Halloween party. And we've done our fair amount of like internet lurking, so we kind of have a sense of who they are. There's kind of rich Toronto private school girls and a bunch of Hamilton boys from the wrong side of the tracks, kind of get a little nervous.
It's like costumes weren't the only thing you cooked up. This narrative's pretty compelling.
It's true. So we're like, all right, we got to think of what. So we're throwing around lots of ideas like Backstreet Boys.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, not bad. Millennium era, obviously. But I said, oh, what if we do competing pizza delivery guys? And your brother Greg, who like doesn't like to dress up and just like kind of likes to wear what he would normally wear anyway, like loves that idea. So we get on the horn. Well, we text the Nut, who's going to be coming to this event too. And the Nut says, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, the Debbie Downer, but this is going to be impossible to pull off, which was kind of crazy to me, given this is the guy who gets us into a poutine place at 2 a.m. Like,
do you think that was reverse psychology though?
Oh.
No, I think he just thought that because it was a Thursday night, we'd have one day to pull it together, all these things. I was like, no, we're going to try. So he puts out a call to his, and then in the text he says, and also due to my brand responsibilities, I need to be pizza. There's no way I can go as Pizza Hut or Little Caesars or anything else, which is also great. It was the most nut text. So we got on the horn. Within about an hour, I put a note on Facebook saying like, who knows anybody who works at these pizza places? I'm connected with Pizza Hut. I'm connected with Little Caesars. I'm connected with Domino's. And so we're like, we're good to go. So then Friday, Dan and I are driving around Hamilton, picking up these pizza outfits. And I told everybody, all the owners of these establishments, that it was going to be me dressing up.
Using that Arkells magic.
So it's abuse of power.
Totally abuse of power. And by the way, I never pull the Arkells card like for anything really, just because I know, you don't want to be like owing favors to people. But I was like, for this, I got to do it. My friend's stressed out. So we're going, Little Caesars is giving us crazy bread and pizza. Domino's.
They give you food as well?
Giving us gift cards.
Wow.
Pizza Hut couriers from their Toronto office, a whole pack of like the jacket, the hat, there's gift cards. So we're like, we haven't spent $1 on this. It's amazing. And, but then we're like, oh yeah, Mike might be in Toronto. So I text you. And then you were a little on the fence about it.
Well, I knew I had to be in Hamilton for a birthday party, and I didn't know what Danica's plan was. So I was like, I'm not committing to this pizza romp, although I thought the costume was awesome.
Yeah.
And personally, last year, I bought a Star Trek The Next Generation uniform.
That you thought you'd wear for years to come.
Well, it wasn't cheap, and I got it tailored, so it fit perfectly. So my plan is to wear that for the rest of my life at every Halloween. So now I'm torn because I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Does the outfit still fit?
Well, I put on a couple, but
Now the outfit's torn.
I got to get it retailored. Anyway, I ended up talking with Danica, and she's like, no, go to the party. She's like, I'm chilling tonight. She's like, but if you go, you have to do the pizza thing. Otherwise, like, what's the point? For the photos, what you're going to be the guy in the Star Trek outfit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, Max, I'm in. And this is kind of a real testament to you because this is like 3 hours before go time, and I go, I'm in. Max, can you pull the trigger on a costume for me with like 3 hours to go?
4 p.m. on Saturday. So, and like none of the corporate head offices. So I was like, so I was with my mom visiting my grandma. I was like, Mom, on the way home, I was like, can we stop at the Pizza Nova around the corner? So I go into the Pizza Nova. They don't know me from a hole in the wall. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to go as a Pizza Nova delivery guy. Can you help? And they're like, no, we don't have any clothes. I was like, do you have like any old hats, like anything that's like in the corner of the back? Like, it doesn't have to be new, doesn't matter. He's like, no, you really don't want this stuff. This stuff's gross. Like, no. So then finally, I kind of just like linger around. I buy a slice of pizza just to show that I'm really committed. And then about 20 minutes later, he comes and he's like, do you want this? And it's a medium green Pizza Nova sweatshirt, crew neck, and a hat. Both of them are a little dirty, but we have time to throw them in the wash at my parents' house. And I was like, this is perfect, and it fit you perfectly. So I rounded up to 5. So we were so excited. So we get to Dan's hotel.
Well, on the way to the hotel, to Dan's hotel to meet you guys, I was like, oh, I need a pizza box. Because you'd said in the group message, like, hey, if everybody bring like a pizza box. So I have
your respective pizza.
Yeah, so I have a Pizza Nova place. So I stop in, and the most expensive part of my costume was the $2.50 they charged me for the empty
pizza box.
Yeah.
Which is great. All in all, we spent $2.50 on all the costumes. So we're getting dressed up. We're taking pictures of each other. We go down in the lobby. People are taking photos of us. Everyone's out for Halloween. So we're feeling like real superstars. So and we've had a couple drinks. So we go into this party. It's like Ossington, cool neighborhood, really cool bar. And nothing really happened at this event, but it was awesome to see Ice Cream Sandwich, who was looking very beautiful, dressed up as Elizabeth Hurley's character in Austin Powers. And Dan sort of awkwardly, because she's very shy, and Dan's sort of awkward and shy. They sort of danced around. You're observing this.
Oh, I was
How would you
loving
describe
it all.
the whole scene?
Oh, it was great. Well, because the thing is that Ice Cream Sandwich sort of traditionally in the encounters has been very quiet, like you said, and shy. So to see her sort of let loose, but then Dan with his like nicely, perfectly fitted Domino's outfit, yeah, he had kind of like a nice little like a golf type shirt Domino's thing. And he's carrying his pizza, and then I saw he lost his hat at some point so that he could make his hair look good. But yeah, it looked like to me that they were hitting it off.
Yeah, so nothing really happened. We all went home. We thought it was a victorious night. Dan invited Ice Cream Sandwich to another thing that's happening this week. She agreed. So, and her friends were also awesome. Her friends were sort of like the girl versions of us, as I said earlier. And Dan sending me a text the next day. Let me just pull it up because it's funny.
Yeah, we need closure. We need closure on the night.
Unprompted, he wrote, I feel like I'm the happiest person in the world right now, just on cloud 9. Who was I with? I was with Lauren. I was like, this is why I love Dan, is that Dan, like, even if like she didn't talk to him the whole night, Dan still would have considered that evening a massive success because we all got to hang out together, dress up as pizza guys, and dance the night away.
I'm surprised, though. You're pretty good at coming up with good icebreakers. I'm just basing this on the Ice Cream Sandwich icebreaker that you came up with a couple weeks ago on that pod. But did you guys ever think to fill the boxes with pizza?
Oh,
you would have been the biggest hit at this party.
We did think about it, but I feel like people don't want to be eating pizza.
There's logistic issues.
At 10:30 p.m., it's like sort of like half-hot pizza. No, like
you think drunk people have discerning taste?
No, but I think everyone's not that drunk. If it was 1:30 in the morning,
okay,
I think people.
So you did think about this.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll accept that answer. Yeah,
acceptable.
Yeah. Anyway, so happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Okay, guys, today on the show we have Serena Williams. And then after her, we have Serena Ryder. So get ready. Serena Williams just had a baby.
She's married to the Reddit dude, I think.
Yeah, we'll see when she's getting back into tennis. We talk about all of that. And then after that, we have Serena Ryder, who is, she's going on tour.
She's out right now.
That's right. She's out on the road right now as you're listening to this. So if you're in one of those cities, look it up, go. She was a delight.
Yeah.
She was so great.
And an awesome artiste. We're going to Instagram pictures that she drew of Mike and I.
That's right. So we're in this interview, Max and I, and we're talking about all sorts of things. And it's always interesting, like you said, she's a friend of yours. And when you listen to two musicians sort of get into the process of writing music and releasing it and sort of the industry sort of things that you guys navigate. But then you sprung that I did not know was going to happen.
Yeah.
You said, Serena, I heard a tip that you do freehand drawing, freehand contour drawing, where in that case, you don't look at your page, you just stare at the subject and draw.
Yeah, your pen never, or your pencil never leaves the sheet.
That's right.
Yeah,
and
she looked like a blind person kind of drawing.
Yeah, you saw the snaps, right? Yeah. So I was surprised, and you were like, do you mind doing one of us?
Manager Ash said, you should try it. You should do it. That was her idea.
Yeah.
It worked out great.
So we'll post pictures of those. In the meantime, like we said, Serena Ryder is out on tour, so check her out.
And Serena Williams is a new mom.
That's right. Big shouts to all the Serenas out there doing good things. Want to get to it? Let's get to it. There grab the mic. We're just rolling on
Mic
this thing.
check. Talking about the cottage.
I was just telling her the story about Kitabala because that's where the cottage was named.
Oh,
and how
nice.
we do the thing at Jay's cottage every year.
Yeah,
He's
we
got
have
like
the
a-
one rich friend with a sweet cottage up
I
there.
want to come for that.
It's awesome. We
Like-
rent a school bus.
I want to come up for that. Colin and I should come up for that.
You
Drink
should.
on the school bus.
Yeah, our
to
one
the
friend
show.
Julian, a Hamilton guy, he gets kicked out 5 years running. He'll always get kicked
He's
out of
gonna
the show.
kicked out.
He takes his
Of the
shirt
show.
off.
He takes his shirt off, and then the bouncer says,
1, 2.
"Put your shirt back on," and then he puts it on his head.
That's awesome.
He does a whole bit.
And then they kind of carry him out, and then he's leaving. I can usually see him from
Wave
the stage.
from the stage.
Waves like
he's
the queen.
smiling,
Wave
he's
at
waving
you.
like the queen, and he
Oh my-
happily gets kicked
That's
out.
amazing. 5
Yeah.
years running.
Oh yeah,
That is phenomenal.
it's
That
a-
needs to be caught on tape.
a badge of honor. Yeah.
We have a photo. I'll show you after this podcast of him getting dragged off of a stage doing the flexing thing. And
nice.
People love it.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
I love
Good
it.
time.
So thanks for doing this with
Thanks
us.
for having me. Yeah.
You just came right from Strombo.
I did.
You were just singing and
I was just singing,
Doing
was
your thing.
performing, doing a little bit of interviews directly from the cottage.
I'm sorry to break up your cottage vacation, or was it timed for this anyway?
No, it was. We had 5 days. We were good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
I was like,
Ready to get back to the city?
absolutely.
Were you guys writing songs up there every day?
No,
Did you bring
we weren't
guitars?
writing. We weren't writing songs, but I was playing. I was learning how to play "What's Love Got to Do with It."
Oh,
Tina
cool.
Turner.
Yeah,
Nice. Are you
Yeah.
gonna cover that one?
I did
Oh,
the Strombo thing.
oh, sick.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right.
So he said, choose a cover that you've never played before, and Colin was like, "This song," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's a hard."
Did you
song.
slow it right down?
A little bit.
Right.
Because you can't really do it as fast as it is on the recording. And I played it a bit differently, but the modulation really.
Some
Screw
of
me
the
up.
old, like the 80s, 70s, 80s R&B, like, because we tried to learn, what's the Whitney Houston song? I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yeah.
And then it gets tricky.
Yeah.
In a way that you wouldn't predict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. You think, oh, it's just a simple like 80s song. It's
Yeah.
no.
No. I only ask about the songwriting because Colin, we're talking about, for our listeners, we're talking about Colin from the Trues. And,
Yeah.
because he seems to write every day. Like,
Yeah.
and you do have that sort of regimen?
No, not at all. I'm like the lazy one in the relationship.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
like, he has like a regimented kind of like he writes and writes and writes and writes. But I mean, I do it when I'm on a cycle. Like
Sure.
the correct. I just released my record 3 months ago.
So you're like, I don't need to do that.
I'm like, I'm gonna chill for a little bit, but usually when I'm writing, I do write every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about releasing the record a few months ago. Like, do you enjoy the process of recording? Because a lot of artists kind of.
I love it.
You do.
I love it because I do it in the most simple way possible, which is while I'm writing the song, the person that I'm writing with will start making beats and producing stuff. And then by the time I'm finished the song, I sing it. And I record it right there. If it's in a living room, if it's in a studio, if it's wherever, just make sure I have a good mic and I record it. So there's the energy of when I wrote the song is right there. And then it's like instant gratification for me. It's amazing. Like I love that, right?
But those
Like,
are the tracks that go out? Those are the ones that go on the record?
those are the ones that go on the record.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the process of sitting on a shitty sounding demo that you're excited to record is just gets so long winded.
Right,
And you're just
or-
like, can I just finish it already?
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're so excited about the song, but then it'll either get old or you'll have a demo that sounds so good, but you didn't record it properly. And you
Properly in quotes.
Properly in quotes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then, you'll never love it like you loved it when it was originally done because there's that energy of like, when it's conceived.
We just did a tune the last couple days, and we just like sent around a track with just my vocal on a piano, but at the right tempo. And we're like, let's just go do it right now. And everybody had been sitting with the tune, getting a feel for, and we talked a lot about like the direction it might go.
Right.
And now it's done, and it's awesome. And then I'm just like listening to it all day today, and it's just like it's so refreshing.
So you recorded it just you and piano.
Yeah, like Anthony played the piano part, I sang over it, and then the guys, we circulated it.
Yeah.
had
Everyone
produced
put
it.
their parts on.
Yeah, and it was good, and I got out of the way for it too. I was like, everyone knows what each other likes and is mindful
Right.
of that, but I didn't have to like hover over Nick as he's playing the bass. I was like,
So
no, I'm gonna go for a walk.
That's awesome.
We were on Queen West, and then I came back, and the bass sounded amazing. I was like, all right,
That's
who's
so
next? It was
awesome.
really fun. I was like,
Yeah.
that's the because when
Right?
you're younger, figuring out how to record is very confusing. But I think the older we get, the more you figure, oh no, this is what I like about recording. This is the best way to go about it.
You become a recording
personally.
artist.
Some would say.
That's why the name exists. You know, you become a pro at it. Well, you know, it's interesting. You're talking about sort of a very band mentality. For you, you know, you're the boss. Applesauce. It's your namesake.
Right.
Does everything sort of come down to you, or how collaborative are you with, you know?
I'm totally collaborative. Like I'm, you know, first and foremost, like a writer, you know, singer, writer, I do melodies, top lines, writing, and like little simple melodies on like piano and guitar. So when it comes to the music that's being put behind, I usually find somebody that I love what they do, the sounds that they make. For me, it's all about the drum sound.
Yeah.
It's all about the drums and it's all about the beat first, because that makes me excited and makes me want to
move
and shake and stuff. And that's like the most important thing. If I have a really good drummer who's like great at playing the drums or programming or whatever, I'm totally set. Someone who can be at the computer and program stuff, and I'll just be like, can you make it sound more like or whatever, make stupid noises. And they're like, yeah, like, you know, I'm not a technically versed musician. I don't even know the names of the chords I play. I can play the drums.
Yeah, Colin was saying you're a good drummer.
I can play the drums a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, do you have like the same go-to people though, from like, you know, record to record during the process, or is it more just like, oh, I'm working with this person now, or this person will play bass on this track, but it changes?
Right. I like to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Because it takes me away from how I would normally write. Like, you know, I don't want to recreate the same thing over and over and over again.
Right.
Which is really lucky for me that I am a solo musician, so I can like kind of get out of a box by getting into somebody else's box.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? Which is super exciting.
You can play the field.
Yeah.
This guy's in a long-term marriage over here.
I know. But, you know, to that point, we deliberately have gone to different producers and different editors and stuff like that.
That's the key.
Because you know, you have a sense of what it will sound like. Oh, I know I have a vibe, but if we work with this guy, it's going to turn on that direction.
Exactly.
So it's nice to be able to, and that's why I've always been envious of pop acts, you know, because they get to have fun with everybody.
Right.
Like, and that's sort of expected almost.
Right. That you're going to work with different people,
Yeah.
do a bunch of different tracks, and it's like, because before my last record, not this record, but the record before, I'd always done it, write a bunch of songs, pick all of the songs, hire a producer,
one guy
who hires a band, an entire band, and then they all learn it, and it's all like takes like 3 weeks to like get the songs down and record them and stuff. And you know, I don't know, I love the freedom of just being able to go work with.
Well, to that point, because there was this jump with the last record,
yeah,
and you felt it, and it kind of went from that sort of more traditional, when you think about your older work, more traditional mold of like, okay, we're going to go away for a month and make a record with one producer in that very conventional rock and roll thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on the last record, I was like, oh, like there's a freshness to it.
Yeah.
And I think for Arkells, I was like, I don't even like the studio. Being holed up for a month in one place with one guy, it's like you kind of lose perspective, and the songs, like, are we repeating ourselves? But it's like if you're able to just kind of piecemeal it together a little bit, there's something exciting about that.
Something super exciting.
Yeah.
And that's what I've discovered. Like, I love that freshness. And if you get somebody that you love working with, or even you guys could do it, like work with like 6 or 7 different people and just like, you know, be like, okay, we're going to record one song with you today. In like 3 days, we're going to record one song with this person. It's like, it makes it exciting.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, speaking of working with people, you've co-written a bunch with Simon Wilcox.
That's right. Yeah.
What is it that makes her sort of an ideal collaborator for you?
She's just one of my best friends on the planet, and I love hanging out with her. And you know, we hung out with each other and totally fell in love with each other before we started working with each other. We were just
so friendship came before the
friendship came
collaborations.
before. And you know, I've obviously been a big fan of her writing and her as an artist. And she was a fan of mine, and we were always kind of scared to work with each other because we were like, what if this sucks? And what if we like,
what if it tears us apart?
What if it tears us apart? Because it can be like a really intense thing to do, right? When you're writing with someone, be like, you know, that.
Well, for our
fire comes
listeners, for reference, Simon Wilcox is sort of one of the go-to lyric writers and lyric and melody writers for a lot of pop, and like
she's like
she wrote or co-wrote one of my favorite Nick Jonas songs.
Still get jealous.
She wrote.
You're too sexy, beautiful.
Like that song is amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to cut that out, right?
No.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah, let him sue us.
Well, why would we cut it out?
Oh, we don't have the rights.
No, we're leaving it in.
Yeah, totally.
It's just a little podcast.
Yeah, she's written so many songs with so many amazing people. Like, she
how
gets
does she
flown
do
out
that?
she gets flown out to like Enrique Iglesias's like home in the Bahamas just to like be there for 2 days to like write, because she's brilliant. Like, she's so much. Have you ever worked with her before?
So explain, like, walk
she's
us through
so
a
much
song that
fun.
you wrote with her, and like give us a song exploder style like analysis of like where lyrical ideas came from or what the conversations were that stemmed
It's
ideas.
very, very organic for her. She's really, really intuitive, really, really empathic. It's like when she walks into a room with somebody, she just kind of like morphs into what they're all about.
Oh, wow.
And she's so intuitive that she ends up saying stuff that you're like, that's my soul. You're speaking, like, you're putting that into words. You're articulating. Yeah.
Mike does that for me in conversations. If I'm stuck on a word and we're having a great, I'm like, Mike, what am I meaning to say?
And
then
she's
he
so much
does it.
fun, and she's really, really humble about it too. Like, you know, I've been in so many sessions where it's such a pain in the ass. Like, you're sitting there with somebody who's just like, this is what I do, and like, I know this is the best way to do this, and blah.
It's got to be more universal. You know, you got to something that.
What are you trying to say? Who are you? Tell me who you are. Yeah. And I'm like, I've been in sessions like that where I just want to rip their faces off. You know, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she's just a joy to work with.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say some of these collaborations that don't work, and you've been writing music since you were very young.
Yeah.
Did you find it hard once you started going into sort of the world of co-writes when you're the sole voice?
I hated it.
That's what I was going to say. So what was that adjustment like for you?
I hated it at first because I always just wrote by myself. And when I started doing co-writes because the label wanted me to do co-writes, and that's a thing that happens.
What's that conversation like, though? Are you kind of like how do you take that from the label saying do co-writes?
Insulted?
I wasn't insulted because I knew that that's just something that happened. I was also
part of the industry.
It's a part of what happens,
Sure.
you know? But I was definitely not into it because you're chasing something. It's like when the label hires someone for you to co-write with, sometimes, especially as a new artist, they have this idea of who you should be, but they don't really know what it is until they hear it. So they're like, I just want you to write a hit. So write a hit for this girl. Make it up-tempo and write it.
Undeniable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so broad,
and
you
it's
know?
like, what are you guys talking about?
You just do it.
And then there's all that. Yeah, exactly. There's all that pressure behind it. And, you know, I was like 23, 4 years old going into writing sessions where normally I'm like in my living room or like in my washroom because the acoustics are good, just like, you know, bearing my soul, but like going and having a conversation with somebody you've never met before and being like, and they're like, okay, so who are you? What do you stand for? It's like, I'm not telling you.
So was there a breakthrough moment though with a song co-writer where you're like, oh, this is actually, I get it now?
Yeah, I actually had, on my second last record, Harmony, I had an amazing time writing with Jerrod Bettis, who is like just an amazing drummer. Like I said, this is how I kind of discovered what I love doing in writing. It's like he was such a great drummer, made such great drum sounds, and made such great tracks, which I'd never done writing to before either. That it was this kind of freedom where I had the freedom to come up with the lyrics and the melody and like write the guitar parts, and the music was created around me. So there wasn't that kind of pressure to have to articulate, well, this is what I mean by this lyric. And, you know, I feel like there's so much of music that needs for me to be sacred, secret, things that mean things to me that, you know, people's like, what's this song about? And it's like, well, it's about whatever you think it's about, you know? Why do I have to share my inner thoughts with you? I've already shared the song.
It's interesting. You hear, you know, directors and writers talk about that a lot, where it's like the artists can take from it what they want.
Yeah.
You know, but then it does mean something to you. There is a sort of literal meaning or what it does mean to you, but you don't come from the school of, I'm not going to share that. It's like, it's whatever you get out of that song.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless there's like completely obvious.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a very simple writer. I write really simple melodies. I write really simple lyrics. You know, and it's all there. You know, when I'm writing it, it's all there.
Well, so a song, you know, Stompa is this huge sort of breakthrough song for you. And a song like that, I think, you know, it's like when you have a hit like that, you can have a sense of security in the idea that it's like, oh man, I can tour on this for a long time. Did you know in the moment, like, shit, like we got one?
Not at all. I wrote it, and that was the second song that I wrote with Jerrod, Bettis, and I was just playing around. Like, I was joking around. I was like, what is stomping your feet? I was like, what am I even talking about?
Yeah.
This is cool, whatever. But I was, when I finished it, I was like, this is really cool, but I wonder who it's for.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that if I would even be the person singing it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I just fell in love with it. I was like, this is so much fun because it's light and it's still rock though, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the, the message of the song where, it really is as simple sometimes as listening to music and singing and moving around that just like moves you out of these like dark circles in your head. The world is a really screwed up place and music can really take you out of that. Just
being around other people, using your body just to like even walking around and having conversations that opens your mind as opposed to being in a bathroom by yourself with the good acoustics.
Exactly.
That can be nice too.
It can be nice.
But when you've reached the end of that road, you're like, all right, I gotta go talk to somebody.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things we do here at Bell is let's talk. And
right.
You've been a participant in that, and you've talked about your own struggles.
For sure.
The decision to sort of talk about that in a public forum, was that a difficult choice to make? And since you've sort of decided to, like, how have you found, the benefits, or maybe even not so much?
I found that it was the idea of speaking about it wasn't difficult. I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to talk about this because I was so sideswiped. My life was so sideswiped from this really, really severe depression I went through like 6 years ago or 7 years ago that I was like, I didn't know what was happening. And people talk about depression in a very clinical kind of a way where it's not this reality. And if you haven't experienced it yourself, you think that you're going insane, And for me, the worst part of it was that I literally didn't think anyone felt the same way. I was like, there's no way other people know how this feels. And when I found out that other people did know how this feels, and it's actually a serious thing, it's, it's something that happens to your brain chemistry, knowing that you're not alone is the most important thing. And so that was my impetus, is that the right word? To like,
let other
people know, hey, this has happened to me too,
Because the isolation ends up feeding into it all. You know what I mean? Because you think you are. And then once you realize, other people are struggling with things too.
Exactly.
It lifts a little bit of the weight.
Exactly.
So you're going on the road for Utopia.
Yeah.
I guess like sort of staying in that realm. Are there things that you sort of do to stay, healthy on the road? Or like, do you feel like you have touring down now? Do you like being on the road?
Yeah, I love touring so much, especially if I'm on a tour bus. Like,
I hear you, sister.
You know what I mean?
Max is always saying that.
It's like, it's the best. Like fly in, fly out dates are like so taxing. It's like, going to different hotels and stuff like that. It's like I don't need much. I just want my little bunk. Just give me like
a little Wi-Fi,
my little bunk, my little Wi-Fi, and like the people that I love around me, and some snacks, and I'm good. I love touring, and to get back to your question, like being healthy on the road, for me, it's pretty easy as long as I, like I like to drink and go out and party with my friends and stuff, but if I have a few shows in a row, I don't go have a big night. If I know I have a day off, sure, let's go to the bar and hang out and whatever. I have the next day off to rest. Rest is the most important thing, as you know, for your voice.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know how to properly sing, but if anybody asks me, I'm just like, I don't know, just try to get 8 or 9 hours and don't booze too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like literally,
it's true.
I don't know.
That's it for me too. It's like, get at least 8 hours of sleep. But like touring and traveling and stuff, it's like 10 is even better.
Yeah.
And we can do it.
Yeah.
Like musicians can sleep.
Yeah.
And also meditating really helps me a lot. I have just these little, like, I have this app.
Headspace?
I have Headspace as well.
I've downloaded that, but I have not used it yet.
Yeah,
you swear by it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's super
When did you get
good.
into meditation?
I got into meditation, when I was like 18 years old.
Oh, so you've been doing this.
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. And I took this course on meditation. It was an 8-week course, 12-week course that John Kabat-Zinn kind of started.
Okay.
And then I have his app too, which is amazing.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, but it's easy enough where it's like you don't have to like sit and meditate for like hours every day. It's like I have 5-minute clips that I can listen to where it's like, oh, I need just 5 minutes right now.
Yeah.
You know? And whenever too, it doesn't need to be scheduled. It's like I feel kind of like out of it a little bit. It's just such a weird job where you're like,
It is.
you know, in front of so many people and talking about yourself, and they're looking at you like there's something more special about you than anyone else, and you're like, no, there isn't at all. I just happen to be able to sing.
Some people are good at fixing roofs, and then I'm not.
Exactly.
But I like to be the center of attention
I
occasionally.
was just thinking about that the other day, where it was like, you know, there's people that spend their lives honing their craft, and it's like this happens to be mine. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I wish that I could do so many normal human being things.
It's like, and I can't. I'm so bad
And
at
I
it.
can't.
It's a fun career, though,
Yeah.
it would seem.
Of course.
Well, it is such an unconventional career, and I think one that's very difficult to be successful in.
Yeah,
Were
that's
there
true.
there times where you were like, I don't think this is going to happen, and was there an alternative path, or were you like, F it, I'm sticking with this until we make it?
There's definitely been times where I've thought it's not going to happen, but it's all been based on other people telling me how I was doing.
Interesting.
So as long as I don't listen to other people's perspectives of how successful I am or not, then I'm pretty good. But yeah, no, there's nothing else for me. So I would be totally screwed. I'm like, if I wasn't able to do this anymore. Yeah, no.
Well, we were, doing research and reading interviews and did a little brief wiki look. And
Yeah.
you've been obviously singing since you were a kid and
Yeah.
all that. But your dad, is he Trinidadian?
My biological father was from Trinidad.
Okay.
And I believe he was of Spanish descent.
Okay. Do you know him?
No, he passed away when I was like
okay.
12, but I never met him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you grew up with your mother and stepfather.
Yes.
But he's musical, your biological father.
My biological father was in a band called the Trade Winds from Trinidad, and they had pretty big hits like
Really?
in the islands back then.
Was it like island music?
Yeah, it was totally like you get on top. That's the way it must be, like a honeymooning couple. Da 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 da. It's like totally like, yeah, it's there.
So do you think that's where the DNA is
The musical
influence?
genes.
Yeah.
Well, there was from my dad. My mom was a backup singer and a go-go dancer
Okay, that wasn't on the Wikipedia
when she
page, I
was
don't think.
young. She toured across Canada. She is amazing.
So you come from artistic people.
Yeah, yeah. And my uncle, he passed away years and years and years ago, but he was a brilliant musician named Bob Carpenter from out west, and he wrote unbelievable music. He has this album that was never released. It was shelved, and he's got the most amazing voice. He's like, what's his name? Yusuf Islam. What's his name?
Oh, Cat
Cat
Stevens.
Cat Stevens.
Yeah.
He sounds like him, except like lower and raspier, and like his lyrics are like mind-blowingly amazing. Bob Carpenter wrote songs for like Tom Rush, and like so many people covered his stuff. Yeah, it's there.
So it's in the
my
blood.
genes. In the blood.
Very cool.
We probably got to go in a second.
Yeah, gotta wrap
But
it up.
Ashley, our manager, Ashley Putnam,
Yeah.
she says you're an amazing portrait artist.
Oh.
So can you do one of us?
Sure. Yeah, I can for
What
sure.
the- oh,
but
wow.
I do like blind contour,
What does that mean?
so I don't look at the page. So
She
it's
looks at the face and just
I
does
don't
it freehand.
I draw it freehand.
Okay.
So it's not actually like
No, yeah, I want it.
it's like art.
Good.
Do you need a bigger surface, or are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can take the computer from you. Oh, you got it. Sweet. Wow, this is exciting, listeners. Max, I like this.
Okay.
I'm going to legitimize that this is not. She does not. Serena's not looking at what she's drawing. She is staring at Max's face.
The most compelling kind of podcast is an artist drawing somebody.
Yeah, listen to us do art. We'll show this on Twitter or something, Instagram. This is awesome. These look so amazing. And I guess just to wrap this interview up, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Welcome to the dessert. We are here joined by our pop pop culture aficionado, Shane Christian Cunningham. Shane,
Hey.
what's up?
I went to see one of these crazy Rocky Horror Picture Show screenings.
Speaking of Halloween.
Speaking of Halloween.
Have you guys ever been to one of these?
I've never been, but I've seen them. Like, I've seen videos of people, they get up and dance and sing all the songs, right?
There's elements of that, but my mom was super excited to see it. My sister was super excited, so they bought me tickets, and they came over to my house beforehand to have a bit of a pre-drink. And I actually ended up getting attacked that night.
What?
It was a strange night, and I was a little worried about it from the get. The family came over to my place. When my mom entered, she looks exactly like Tim Curry's character. Like, they went all out. And stepdad Brad is dressed as the Hunchback character from the film, and my sister is Janet from the film. People who know.
Is that the Susan Sarandon character?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think they did pre-drinking before the pre-drink at my place. So they're feeling pretty loose.
It's hard not to drink at your place because your place is so like collegial. It feels like I'm at a pub when I'm at your place. So like, you want to get into it.
Yeah, it's we have a fun, laid-back atmosphere
100%.
at our place. I have a ping pong table. I have a shuffleboard table, as I mentioned, and I have a full bar for people that are welcome to use it if they want when they come over. Because especially when I'm not drinking. So we're playing shuffleboard, whatever. Some people want some shots. I'm giving out shots. I'm handing out Coors Lights. Everyone's having a good time. Then we start walking to the theater, and the theater is within a 3-minute walk to my place. It's called Zoetic Theater. You know, I had a little inkling there was going to be some trouble off the beginning because my mom wanted to like take a roadie and like walk the beer. She insisted on having a beer from the walk from my house to the theater. I'm like, okay, so we start walking.
You and Alex aren't drinking, obviously.
No, we're not drinking. She's pregnant. I'm not drinking in solidarity. And all of a sudden, my mom's gone. We've lost my mom. We look back, we can't find her. And she's found another group with someone dressed as Janet and someone dressed as the Hunchback. And she thinks that is my sister and her husband, stepdad, Brad. So I'm like, what? And then these people are like, your mom's here, kind of like shouting over, like my mom's like lost. We get her over, get in the theater. It's amazing. Every single person is dressed up. Literally, I'm the only person not in one of the outfits. Before the movie starts, Alex kind of is like, that Janet, the Susan Sarandon character, they're going to yell out slut every time she appears on the screen. And I'm like, I really don't think they're going to do that. In lieu of the Harvey Weinstein thing, it's kind of a new era. I really couldn't picture people screaming slut at the screen. And I'm like, whatever they do, I'm certainly not going to do that. You know, I'm a new man, right?
Yeah.
So sure enough, Susan Sarandon's character comes on the screen and everyone's like, slut, you f***ing slut. Everyone's screaming. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And then my stepdad, Brad, he doesn't know that these are planned things people are supposed to yell at certain times. So the narrator comes on the screen, and when the narrator comes on the screen, you're supposed to boo. So everyone goes, boo. So stepdad Brad looks around, he goes, you're a cocksucker. You're a cocksucker. And the audience is like, you're not really supposed to yell that out during that part. So he's yelling out inappropriate things the entire time. And he's getting like really drunk at this point. So he walks out randomly, bumps everyone in the row, gets popcorn. And there's a scene where you throw like toast at the screen. Like that's one of the classic things you do. And Brad's like chucking popcorn at everybody and just anything you're supposed to do. He's taking this too far. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to like Brad is very small. He's like 5'6", maybe 130 pounds. I'm like, there's going to be a fight and I'm going to have to protect my stepdad.
Yeah.
Like stepdad Brad, he's a very sweet, innocent guy. He's just getting caught up.
In his mind, he thinks he's just playing along.
Exactly. So then a guy comes out with a spear and it looks kind of like a giant fork. And then stepdad Brad's like, fork off, you forking forker. And then it's just dead quiet for Brad. So
I liked it.
Yeah, it works in this room. Anyway, I'm in a total state of fear the entire film. I'm dead sober, and everyone else is very drunk too, yelling out all these inappropriate things. So we get out of the theater unharmed.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about, is that you and Alex are dead sober and surrounded by madness. So you're seeing everything as it is in real time, whereas when you're drunk, you're just...
Yeah, well... And I understand it, like, if you're drunk, confused, you don't know that people yell out. I understand stepdad Brad being kind of silly. And it was kind of funny at the very end, like like I haven't seen the film, but I know Tim Curry's character is a man dressed as a woman.
Yeah.
But at the end, Brad had a realization that that was the case. And he's like, oh, man. He's like, that's a man. He's like, wow, this changes everything. And he's being really hilarious and lovable. So at the end, they need a taxi to go home. So I'm like, I'll get you guys an Uber, go home. Because you guys are like really drunk. Call the Uber or dial it up, and it's going to be 10 minutes. And I'm like, uh-oh, okay, I kind of have to entertain them for 10 more minutes. And then stepdad Brad walks over to me, and he goes, when my biological son was young, I kicked his ass. Now it's time to kick my stepson's ass. And I don't know what to do, so I just kind of laugh. Like, I really laugh hard because I'm very uncomfortable with that, and I think it's funny. But he's like...
By the way, we're laughing. Like, we know... For our listeners, we know Brad
as this benevolent, sort of harmless
like little dude.
He's the most lovable man ever. So this is super disarming for me.
Yes, it's all very
like, I
strange,
love
yeah.
stepdad Brad, and he's a very kind soul, typically. And so he starts pushing me, and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, stop it, Brad. He's like, what? You scared of me? You scared of me? I'm like, no, I'm not scared of you. And then he goes to like he kind of grabs me in my ball area, but like hooks me and starts lifting me off the ground.
Like he tries a wrestling move on
and
you.
And he's really strong. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then he's like, all right.
He's just in the mood to wrestle.
He goes, Shane, you think I'd hurt you? You think I would hurt you? And he's kind of pushing me. He's like, if I was your height, look at how tall you are. If I was your height, I would kick everybody's ass from here to Norfolk County or something.
It's a very like Hamilton reference.
He grew up in like the country.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. Just don't do it. He goes, I wouldn't hit you. You think I'd hit you? I'm like, yes. He goes, you scared? I go, yes, I am. And then all of a sudden, my mom gets up and pushes him. And I'm like, whoa. And then he kind of just like, he comes over to me and he goes, I really shouldn't drink. And then the Uber comes and my mom grabs him like kind of like a police officer. She's like, get in the car. And then just pushes him all the way to the Uber. And then just bitched him out the entire ride home. Like,
as she should.
Yeah. And that was it.
I wonder what that did for your Uber rating. That's it. That's all. That's our episode. Thank you so much for listening.
You can find us online on Twitter and Instagram at Mike on Much. Please leave a comment and rating in iTunes. It really helps the show grow. If you dig the show, tell a friend because we could use more of you. A huge thank you to Jenna Gregory and Tara Paquette for putting the art together. Webmaster Dan, Justin Stockman, Greg Stewart, the whole gang here at Bell Media.
The Mike on Much podcast is produced by Max Kerman. I'm your host, Mike Veerman. Happy Halloween, and see you next week if we don't die on the weekend.